Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how you can make food order and delivery application in Kotlin. I have similar video available on my channel in Java. So we are going to build similar application in Kotlin in this video. So first of all, we are going to create a folder, that is the raw folder, inside our resource. And inside this raw folder we'll keep the JSON file. So as I mentioned, I have already available on my channel, so you can go to my GitHub. Inside that you can find the food app, and there inside the resource raw folder there is a JSON file. So we can simply copy the same JSON file. This is called restaurant.json file. We'll copy whole JSON file and copy it. And now inside our raw folder we'll create a file. We'll give the same name, restaurant.json. Inside that we'll simply paste the whole content of our JSON. So our application will use this data to show the list of a restaurant and its menu. Now we need to add some dependencies, like two dependencies. One is the glide to display the images, like the restaurant images and the menu item images. So we'll be that JSON have the URL, so we'll be using the glide to display the images. Other than that, we'll be using the JSON library, Google JSON library, to convert our JSON into the object. So similar dependencies I have used in the Java as well. We'll be using the same dependency in Kotlin, and I am adding the Kotlin extension. This we already know why we use this. So this is just to import the our layout views. So let's close it and start with our coding. First thing, we'll be starting when we have applications. So we start with the splash screen. So I'm again creating an splash screen and I'm making it as the launcher. So since now we have two launchers, so we need to remove one launcher from our application. There you go. So now we'll work out on this our layout of our splash activity. Now I'm simply adding an image inside our splash. I'll be displaying it in a center of our app screen. So now we need the image, so we'll get it from my GitHub as well, this image. So we have this splash image, so we'll get this f splash. We'll just simply copy this content and create a new file. Inside the drawable folder we'll give it a name, ic_splash.xml, and we'll simply paste in this content. So this image is the vector image, so we are using the vector. We'll pass this image here. Now we need to set the color of our application. So this time I'm setting the different color. Let it be red, little bit darker side red. So let's pick one color which we are going to use inside our color.xml. So we'll change here last 6 digits. Similarly here, so we are changing the default color to red now. Now we'll set this color on the background of our activity. Let's run our application and just check. Okay, I'm getting some error, Java 11 to run. Okay, let me change the version of our JDK. One more change we need to do inside the build tools. Inside Gradle, we need to change it here as well to the 11. Click apply, sync now, and then we'll run again. So if you are using Java 11 on your system laptop, then you might see this error. So you can resolve this by following these instructions. So you can see now. So on the top, I'm seeing some text to my application name. So we can change it by hiding the action bar. So we can hide the action bar now. So you can get the supported action bar dot hide. And now a splash screen usually displayed for a couple of seconds. So and after that it automatically got closed and send us to the next activity. So I'm using the handler.pause delayed and we'll use the 2 seconds of time for the splash screen. As soon as 2 seconds will over, then it will send us to the main activity. And now we'll simply close this activity so that on hardware back button, this screen doesn't come in a back on the back button click. So I'll remove it from the stack. So let's run and see. So title is gone and you can see user land on a main activity. We'll remove that title from here main activity as well. And now we'll start parsing our JSON file. So we already put a restaurant.json file in our raw folder. So now first thing we need to read the data from that JSON file. So we'll read it and this function should return a list of restaurant names. So let's create a separate folder name as model. Inside this model, I'll be keeping my data classes, which will be actually the setter getter classes in Java. So I'm giving the name restaurant model. And now we need to change it to the data. And now as per our JSON file, we'll declare the variable so that those variable can hold the data from our JSON or easily convert that into the objects. Second variable is address, a string type. Third is the image URL. Okay, delivery charges. Image. Next is arts and menu. So arts is an object, menu is the array again. So we need to keep that in mind. So first I'm creating another data class for arts. So it have the variables Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the variables. So that we can get the exact time on the based on this day. And now we need another data class to handle the menu. So one restaurant have some hours, opening hours and closing hours, and then they have menu items like there, and inside menu they have certain parameter like the item name, item price, and item image. And I'm adding one more variable which I'll show you. We'll use it when we will handling our cart. So that is total in cart. That will be the, so we'll use this inside the R's and menus, and that will be the list type of. So menus will be a list because that was the array, so it can be held inside the list. And this total in cart should be integer type. So we need to make it parsable because we need to pass data from one activity to another activity. That's the reason I am making it with the parsable. So this variable is need to define as nullable. There you go. So our data classes are ready. Now we'll move back to our main activity and start writing for the parsing our JSON. So this, we need to get the input stream from the raw folder. And here we'll pass our restaurant JSON file name. So whatever name you give inside the raw folder, pass it here r.raw.name. We usually do it inside the try catch block because there are higher chances of getting a exception. So better to guard this code with the try catch. Now this writer.toString will return us the whole JSON in the string form. Now we need to convert it into this string we need to convert into the restaurant model object. So we'll call JSON.FromJSON function and we'll pass it as the array. We'll return this restaurant model. It's showing some error. We missed something. Not sure what could be missing. Let's rename this first. It's a typo. Okay, and now let's see. Okay, I'm renaming this variable as well. Okay, there you go. So we are missing .java.toolList. Now we can return this restaurant model. Now we'll call this function from our onCreate function of our activity. Now once it will retrieve the object, we'll get a restaurant model object. Now let's work out on our layout file. So we'll be adding a RecyclerView. Remove this hello world and we don't need a bottom to bottom. we need to give ID. So RecyclerView restaurant list. Add little bit padding. I will give the background as red, what we define inside our color.xml. So now go back to our activity and initialize our recycler view. We'll simply add a linear layout manager. Now we need an adapter. So since we don't have an adapter, so it's time to create a separate folder first for adapter, because we'll be keeping all the adapters here inside this package. And now let me create a class for restaurant list adapter. Now we'll build our adapter. We'll override all these three functions, and my view holder we need to create. So we have to create another layout for our row, recycler row. So let's create another layout file. So inside this, I'll be using the card view. And inside the card view, we'll be having a image on left hand side and some text views on right hand side of the image. So this layout is totally up to you, the way you want to show your restaurant list on the activity. So here I'm adding a linear layout and keeping the orientation as vertical, and that will be on the right hand side of this image view. So that's why I put the margin of 140. So one text view we need for restaurant name, another text view for restaurant address, and one text view for restaurant hours. Now we'll pass the layout file name here, comma, parent, comma, false, and we'll return this view to our view holder, that is my view holder, and we'll pass this view here. So on create view holder is ready. Now we'll call on bind view holder, so holder.bind, and we'll pass this object on the position, but it's showing error because our bind function is empty, so we'll make it compatible. Now we'll extract all the text views and the image view from our layout file. We'll copy all and paste it, and we'll simply pass the same ID what we define inside our layout file. One is for image view as well, so we'll change it first and pass the same ID. Now we'll set the restaurant name from the restaurant model object. Similarly for the address as well. For hours as well, but hours we need to write a function to get the today's hours, because this is the object. So we'll figure it out by writing a function. So I'll show you how you can get the today's hours directly. So first of all, we need to figure out what is the day today, so that we can get to know from the calendar. So here we'll be using the calendar API. Calendar.get instance return us the object of calendar, and from the calendar.get time will return us the date object. And now we'll simply figure out the day by using the simple date format. So once we know the day, then we can simply use the when. When is similar to switch in Java, and it will return us the hours from the hours object. And now we need to set the image, restaurant image, to our image view. So we'll use the glide here. That's the reason we added the glide dependency in our build.gradle file. So here we are using. So our adapter is ready. Now let's copy this adapter and go back to our main activity and set it to our recycler view. And now we'll set this adapter to our recycler view. Now looks good to me. Let's run our application and see. Okay, before that we need to add an internet permission in our manifest because we are using a URL to get the images using the glide. So let's run our application and see. So splash, there you go. So you can see the restaurant list, address, today's hours, and the name and the images, but it looks like something is missing on top. So better to give some name on the top, like some text like restaurant list. So let me make this change instead of hiding this action bar. So we'll set title and give them a restaurant list. Now let's run and see. Splash, there you go. So it's look little bit better now. So now I'm giving you a task for my next video. We'll continue with that. So I'm giving you a task to handle the restaurant list or a click listener before you watch the part 2. So this is your exercise, guys, and thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. That will be the continuation of this video as the part 2. So we'll continue with that. Thank you.